Now with this being Sega September, I'm basically talking everything Sega! So in my last video I had remembering the Sega Megadrive, where I talked everything about the Sega Megadrive. But what I wanted to do today was actually show you all the games in my Megadrive collection. Now one thing I will say before we begin is that I really don't have any way of capturing footage of my Megadrive. So if there's not much game footage today, yeah, you know why now. Anyway, let's get cracking on. This first one I'm going to show you isn't actually a Megadrive game. It's a Genesis game, and it's Echo the Dolphin. Now, before you ask, it does work on my Megadrive. So if you have any questions about, well, does a Genesis game play on it? Well, yeah. Now, with Echo the Dolphin, I used to just really play the first level because it's quite a tough game. I just used to play around as Echo, just going about the first level, just jumping about until the aliens took everything out of the ocean and Echo actually had to do his little job of saving the world. But yeah, Echo the Dolphin. Now in the previous video I mentioned that Disney actually had an epic amount of decent Mega Drive games. So this next section is basically going to be all the Disney games. Why it took me that long to actually get that out, I don't know. So the first Disney game is Aladdin. Now Aladdin is an immense game on the Mega Drive. It's even got the price I paid for, £2.50. It probably goes for a lot more than that now. But yeah, Aladdin was a great time. One of the best platformers which actually released on the Mega Drive or the Genesis, wherever you come from. And yeah, really good. Now I did also mention as well that Mickey Mouse had fantastic games on the Sega Mega Drive. So let's look at the first one that I have in my hand. It's Mickey Mania. Now, did anyone play this? Because it got really hard as nails. All these platformers had really tough difficulty spikes on them, or maybe I just was rubbish at them. But yeah, fantastic game. Sticking with the Disney train, it is World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Now, this again was a awesome game. Now in this you got to choose between playing as either Mickey or Donald, or if you want to play it as two-player co-op, then you could. And the levels actually change depending on if you're playing one player or two player. And know what else was really good is that, for example, Mickey Mouse could crawl under things, but Donald's huge arse, he couldn't get under things, so you had to have Mickey actually drag him out and go to get him through these small gaps. I always remember that. Weird things. Another fantastic Mickey Mouse game on the system, Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. Now this is a belter of a platform game. Mickey Mouse games were always great. Now if you have any fond memories of this game, you know, let me know what your thoughts were down there in the comments. Go! Okay, another belter right here. Anyone ever play Toy Story in the Mega Drive? This was awesome. I always remember getting stuck on one of the boss levels. It was the crane level where you're in the crane at the pizza planet, and getting through that was hard as nails. And then when you had to fight the actual crane to save Buzz Lightyear, that took some skill. And for being a wee guy at the time, I mean, that took me ages to do. But yeah, amazing game, and a game I've actually completed in full. The last level where you've got to be playing as Buzz Lightyear and Woody, well, it's like a kind of a side-scrolling bit where you've got the rocket on the back. So cool. Next up, anyone else play Tailspin at all? This was so good. So good. I spent so many times replaying this game. It's just so much fun playing as Baloo the bear. I don't really remember much of the cartoons, but yeah, Tailspin was fantastic. Now this next one is actually one of the most recent games added into the Mega Drive collection. It was gifted to me by my friend Gardner. It's The Lion King. Now, if you've ever played The Lion King, God, this is tough. This is not an easy game. It's great, but it's not easy. Christ, it's warm in here. It's currently about like 23 degrees outside, and I'm in my little cupboard and it's roasting. Thank God for Cold Monster. Now, these next two games, oh, so many good memories of them. It's a shame that we don't really see much of this series, released on any modern consoles, but does anyone remember Micro Machines? These games were so much fun, just pure arcade racing. The top-down view was so fun. Or how about its sequel, or one of the sequels, from my remembering. It's Micro Machines Turbo Tournament 96. It's even got a 95% the best racing game ever from Sega Power Magazine. And this one, bloody hell, I've got cheat codes. It's my dad's handwriting. Yeah, look, there's cheat codes in here. Now this one here, right? The way that you did multiplayer, because you could actually have, I think it was, let's see, yeah, you could have it up to 8 players, right? So the Mega Drive only has 2 ports on it, but the cartridge has 2 extra ports on the side there, so you can put in controller 3 and 4, right? Now, the way that's done is 8 players. Look at the back, look at the instructions here, right? You're basically sharing a controller. That is insane. I do remember doing that. I'm more amazed that we've got the cheats still in here for the game. But I used to spend ages playing that game because you could build your own tracks and everything, and you could like put the speed up to like stupid speeds. So much fun. I wish there was like a Micro Machines sort of retro pack you could play on modern consoles, because these games are really missed. Now, remember I was mentioning in the last video about James Pond? Well, I've got these 2 games to show you next. So I mentioned James Pond Underwater Agent. This game was basically a fish version of James Bond 007. And you basically it was like a kind of a platform where you'd be collecting items and taking it back to your base, etc. You had to collect the various things. So yeah, it was really, really good. It was made by EA. Oh, there's an Wait a minute, what's this? The wrong instruction manual in there. That's a spoiler for later on. Box won't close. Jesus, it's bloody warm. Now, that second James Pond game I was talking about was the Aquatic Games with James Pond and the Aquabats. Aquabats? Penguin official sponsor. I've had this game for so many years. Look how they spell official. Come on. Official. But yeah, I'm having a look in here, right? It's got the instructions and it's got... Oh, wow. Look at this. It's an electronics art book from 1992 to 93. So basically it's advertising all the games. So like James Pond 3, Crewball, Road Rash. Wow. That's a blast from the past, is it? Again, the box won't close. Okay, so the next lot of games are just basically the random odds and sods which are in my collection. Now honestly, I think everyone had this in their Mega Drive collection. It's Tasmania, which according to this I paid £5 for. Tasmania was a fantastic platforming game. If you've never played this, it's always worth a shout. It was really, really fun to play. Seriously, it's so hot. The next entry is just... I've played this game so many times as well. Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic Park. What the hell? Got the instructions falling out now. Jurassic Park. If you've not played this game, you got to play as 2 different characters. You got to play as Dr. Grant, and you got to play as a Velociraptor. I used to usually play the Velociraptor because he could jump really, really high and just had better... I just felt the Velociraptor was a better character compared to Dr. Grant. I always remember getting, I think the last area basically was you had to fight a T-Rex and I could never win. So I've never completed it. I always got to the last stage, but I could never beat the T-Rex. Yay! Now usually I have a backstory about how games got into my collection and everything, but this one, I'm not too sure. I want to say it was either my mum or dad's one. More than likely my mum's. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask her. But it's Blockout. Now this is basically, it says here, a 3D arcade action by Californian Dreams Division. Oh, okay, whatever. It's basically a puzzle game where you put in block, like kind of a, I want to say 3D Tetris. It was weird. It was really weird, this one. I did play it, it's just weird. Now, this one is actually awesome and has a lot of Scottish history behind it. Lemmings. Lemmings. Now, for those unaware, Lemmings was actually created in Dundee, and the company who created Lemmings would there go on to become the makers of Grand Theft Auto. So yes, if it weren't for Lemmings, you wouldn't have Grand Theft Auto. Lemmings is a great puzzle game. Basically, make sure your wee guys don't die. Just basically path out. This heat's really getting to me. Basically, if you've never played a Lemmings game before, you're basically saving your wee guys and getting them from one area of the map to the other by making platforms, digging holes, etc. Now this next one, Super Thunderblade, this just popped into my collection somehow. Don't really have much knowledge of it. Let's move on. Now, I mentioned this puzzle game in my recent video, and it's Clax. Again, this is a series which you don't really hear about anymore. But have you ever played Clax before? Great puzzle game. Let me know down below. Right, I mentioned this in the video as well about the 3-in-1 collection. It is the Mega Games 1. Now this had 3 games on it. It had Super Hang-On, which is a motorbike game, Columns, which is a puzzle game similar to like your Puyo Puyo, and World Cup Italia 90, which still has USSR. Now the most recent time, what was the last time I played it? I think it was with my mate Steve. We played this, and he was, I think you could play as Scotland or the UK, and I was USSR, and I got humped on it as well because I'm rubbish at football games. Bloody controller's trying to follow me. Now this one was actually mentioned in the video as well, and it actually got a recent re-release, and I need to actually see if I can get my hands on it at some point. I really kind of wish. Now I don't know actually if it's on Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna have to look into that one, but it's Zool. Zool the Ninja from the Nth Dimension. This was an amazing platformer. Now if anyone's played Zool before, let me know down below. I think Generation Pixel has talked about Zool on his channel before. I always remember playing the first level. It was like a sweetie candy sort of level, and there was Chupa Chup signs everywhere. It was ace. And he ran really fast, bounced off of walls. You could do spin attacks and fire little bullets. Remember, you could fire them from your feet. Okay, so we are coming up to nearing the end of my Mega Drive collection. So it's all Sonic games from here on out. So without further ado, let's have a look. Now I don't care what anyone says, this was the utter class game. Sonic Spinball. Sonic Spinball is kind of seen as not a great game, but I really enjoyed Sonic Spinball. Anything with Sonic I'm really going to love. The soundtrack's not the best. It could bleed your ears, but I love this game. Seriously, it's so hot. Now I gave a spoiler earlier, so let's reunite the instructions from Sonic 3D Flickies Island back into its original case. Don't know how many years it's been, but you're back. I remember getting this. Now my mum and dad had a newspaper that used to come in, and I remember seeing there was an advert for Sonic 3D Flickies Island in the newspaper, and because you didn't really have internet or anything back then, I saw this advertised as like, I need this, and we went out and got it, and I sat there all day playing it. Flickies Island is, well, Sonic 3D in general, it's not got the best reputation, but I really enjoyed my time with it. And playing a Mega Drive game and having, I know it's not really 3D, it's done isometric, but to me I was like, oh, my little Mega Drive's playing a 3D game, wow! Now this next one, you're going to have to ignore the actual box, because the way that this game was sold, right? Sonic and Knuckles. Now this is actually in a VHS video box. Oh, the instructions are still there. And there's a cartridge there. Now, the way that this was sold, it wasn't sold like most Mega Drive games. It was sold in like a cardboard paper box sort of thing. And anyone who, like, any Nintendo fans will know with their sort of like paper cardboard boxes, they just fall apart. Now, if you're unaware of how Sonic and Knuckles worked, this was fantastic, this cartridge. So what you would do with this is you would put in Sonic 1, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. Now Sonic 3 would give you the full experience, because Sonic 3 was kind of meant to be this included. Sonic 2, when you put it in, you could play as Knuckles in Sonic 2. That was amazing. It could blow your little mind about how much could be done with just the Mega Drive cartridges. And then when you put in Sonic 1 into this, you got the Blue Sapphire levels that you could just sit and play for hours upon hours. Seriously though, I still can't believe I've got the VHS box. Right, final three. Any guesses what they are? Let's work our way backwards, shall we? It's Sonic 3. I've spoken so many times about Sonic. Sonic is my all-time favourite video game character. Sonic 3, in my eyes, is the best Sonic. Well, when you attach it to Sonic and Knuckles, it makes it the best experience. Sonic 3, out of the original 3, this was the one I played all the time. And having a feature where you could save your games, that was so new to me at the time. You know, my experience was with the Mega Drive, and you didn't really have save states or anything. You had passwords, but when you got to be able to save your game, so cool. Now next up is one of the fan favourites, and that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is utterly fantastic. So good. Now, actually, up here, I have got an original pin badge. See if the camera will focus in on it. An original pin badge which was released with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I think. But yeah, it's an original one. It's like was released the same time. Oh, so many good memories. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is seen as one of the best as well, and for good reason. It is just a utter standout game. I always remember getting to the Death Egg and always losing to the Dr. Robotnik's massive robot. I always used to lose at that, but now I can beat it no problem because I actually know how to play Sonic properly. Christ, this is the last one. Last but not least, the most important game in my Mega Drive collection, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I've spoken in great detail about this game on the channel before. There was a previous video which I did in last year's Sega September where I told you why this is one of the most important games I've ever played. I will put a link in the corner bit where you can actually have a look at that. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, it's a fantastic game. Made me love Sonic, made me love gaming in general. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. So there we have it, that is my Sega Mega Drive collection. Was there any standouts in that collection or any games that you have? Let me know in the comments down below. Now if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, please hit that notification bell. God, it is toasty in here. This has been Chicken Fillets, and until next time, and hopefully I'm not in a pool of sweat, tatty bye.